Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our Tuesday evening introduction to Lifewave and X39. Lifewave is a very special company that you're going to hear about this evening. Gregory is going to do a short presentation on the company, the technology, a little bit about our founder, inventor, and then we bring on our special guest for the evening. We have a rotation of wonderful healthcare practitioners, and tonight we have Dr. Barbara Jennings with us, and then we'll talk a little bit, and then it's your turn. And at that time, you can actually share your stories, ask questions. Please put the request in the Q&A section, and then we'll call on you. And thank you for just mentioning symptoms only. So I want to do a special warm welcome for all of those of you that are just checking us out for the first time. Please have a notepad handy. You might find some interesting things to take notes on. So I'm going to now turn things over to my partner. I'm Robin Blank Muscari, and my partner is Gregory, and he's going to do a short presentation. There he is. All right, hon.
Here I am.
Over to you.
All right. Thanks, darling. And good evening, everyone. And a special warm welcome to everyone that's looking at Lifewave for the first time. And this is kind of an overview to give you an idea about our company, our genius scientist, inventor, and our products, and the benefits you might experience if you choose to try our products. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll walk through a short presentation before we introduce our special guest doctor tonight. So we're going to talk about activating your stem cells. And before we do, I wanted to share with you an awakening I had a number of years ago. I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, younger. And I wonder if any of you can relate to that. You know, age is a feeling, not a number. And I just want to feel younger all the rest of my days and years. So let me ask you now a personal question. If anything were possible, what's one thing you would choose to experience differently in your health, or maybe in the health of someone you love and care for? And with that in mind, what difference would it make for you or them if there was an enhancement, if there was a change in some kind of lagging situation or nagging situation, maybe a debilitating situation? With that being said, I do want to make a clear note that our products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, diagnose, or any disease. However, they do help bring our body into a more healthy state and regenerative mode, and many times wonderful things begin to happen. So let's talk about the stem cell revolution, because we believe everyone wants to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that repairs and regenerates all the cells in our body. The problem is, the older we get, the less stem cells we have. And sadly, by age 60, only a small percentage remain. And the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. And that's why when you were young, you fall down, skin your knee, and a few days later, the scab falls off. Grandma falls down, skins her knee, breaks her hip, and sadly, she may never recover. Well, what about stem cell injections? And they become quite popular, but you know what? They're really expensive. They can be painful, risky, controversial, and you can spend tens of thousands of dollars with no guaranteed results. So this is where the good news comes in. And you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with our historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. It's a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, non-invasive, it's drug-free. It's actually a patented form of phototherapy that uses very specific frequencies of light to increase and improve our stem cell activity. Now, this is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt, who's not only a brilliant scientist and researcher. David is actually a genius inventor with over 130 patents and patent pendings, and he's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years. He's already conducted over 80 clinical studies proving the efficacy of our Lifewave phototherapy products, and many more studies are always in the works. Now, David founded Lifewave almost 20 years ago. It's, almost 18 years ago. It's a 17-year-old advanced technology company focused on health sciences, founded in 2004 based on an energy-enhancing technology that he developed for Navy SEALs to help them increase their strength, their stamina, and performance without drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. The technology is so effective, it's now used by world-class athletes around the world in almost every sport. We have our corporate headquarters, laboratory, and manufacturing in California, Utah, and Ireland, and we have global distribution to over 75 countries with 15 global distribution centers. Now, the word is getting out, and as I said, Lifewave patches are now used by pro and amateur athletes around the world in almost every sport. The media has begun to notice, and you might too, if you look carefully on the bodies of your favorite athletes, and you might see these auspicious little white round patches on them. That's Lifewave. Major athletes, Olympians all around the world are using our technology. So let's explain how this amazing technology actually works. And it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation. And Lifewave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals. And when they're applied or near the body, they're activated by our body heat, and they then begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light, which stimulate targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in our body. This is known as photobiomodulation. That's quite a mouthful, and it is the basis of our Lifewave phototherapy products. Now, it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that specific frequencies of light can cause specific changes in the body. For example, when we go out in the sun, a specific frequency of light causes our body to make vitamin D. We don't get a vitamin D download from the sun, but we do get a light frequency download from the sun that triggers our body to make vitamin D. Likewise, another frequency of light, UV, causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. Well, Lifewave's patented technology is based on the same rock-solid, well-recognized scientific principle. Now, our focus for the last 14 years has been in the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And I'm happy to tell you that we released to the global market about 3 years ago the Lifewave X39 stem cell activation patch. And it truly is a historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation, because some are actually calling it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science, doing what multi-billion-dollar companies and big pharma has not been able to do. The Lifewave X39 technology activates a very specific copper peptide in our body that activates our body's own stem cells, while also altering gene expression towards a younger and more vibrant you. So X39 certainly is a game changer. Our company has grown 10 times in size in the last 3 years after the release of X39. And our founder, inventor, David Schmidt, says it's my greatest achievement yet. Emphasis on yet, because he spends more time in the laboratory than he does in an office. And yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. And yes, we have field results proving that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very, very exciting news. So that's my little primer for tonight's call. So I'm going to stop my share, Robin, and turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Gregory. That was wonderful. I always get something new. It's amazing, as many times as I've heard that. So moving along, now I get to introduce our special guest this evening, and it's Dr. Barbara Jennings. She's a chiropractor out of Fort Collins, Colorado. She practices in person there and also does phone consults. She has an expertise in many areas way beyond chiropractic. She started out as a classical pianist and developed a pretty serious illness, and a natural practitioner helped her come back to health again. And she was so inspired that she became a chiropractor, and she has a specialty in helping people with all kinds of autoimmune issues and hormonal issues. And she's a master at detoxification, which I'll tell you, I took her 4-month course, and if I ever have a challenging health situation, it's the first thing I'm going to do is call Dr. Barbara and say, I'm ready for a new detox. So she's a gift to our community, as are all of our practitioners. We literally have thousands of healthcare practitioners in Lifewave because the products work. And we're going to hear a little bit more. So I want to welcome Dr. Barbara. There she
Hello.
is. Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. It's always a treat to see you.
You too, Robin.
How do
Hello,
you look
everybody.
Hello. How do you look so beautiful at the end of the day?
I just came from pickleball, actually.
Oh my gosh, that is the fastest growing sport in history. It's amazing.
My first time. So,
And
and I wasn't quite as bad as I thought I would be.
are you going to do it again?
Yeah, it was fun. I'll do it again.
Okay. Pickleball is a great sport for baby boomers. You don't have to run as much on the tennis court.
Yes.
Anyway, let's jump in because I know people would love to hear from you, Dr. Barbara. What is it, what is it that got you excited and interested enough to really dig deeper into Lifewave as a technology and as a possibility for using with your patients?
It's the ability for that enabled me to offer something that I didn't have before and something that I can't do otherwise, which is a quick, effective, and very affordable way to increase your stem cells.
There you go.
Yeah, unless you're a doctor who's doing injections, which cost a lot of money, thousands and thousands of dollars, there's not really another way you can offer this to people.
And that's what got me involved, because I was actually willing to spend, Gregory and I, $12,500 out of pocket for a single injection with no guarantee.
Right.
And then I got that famous call from our friend Kai, who's arriving here in a few hours tonight. I'm so excited. That says there's a new technology activates your own stem cells, younger stem cells with light. And I went, how fast can I get it? So would you share, a few quick stories about some of your amazing experiences you've had utilizing the technology?
Yeah, well, just today I had a follow-up patient or appointment with a patient, and she's they're both retired. She tripped and fell on a hard floor, fractured her pelvis in 3 places, and of course was in a lot of pain, was immobile for a long time. Anyway, her husband was actually a patient of mine first. And I told him, these patches would really help her recover faster from these fractures. And they ordered them. And sure enough, she recovered, not just a little bit, but months faster than they expected, because she's, in her early 70s.
Wow. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah,
Yes.
I literally just got off the phone with someone who's got a severe pain in her pelvic area and shooting down her leg. And I just walked her through putting the patches on. She goes, could it happen that fast? It's wonderful, isn't it? Yes, because natural remedies usually take longer, don't they? Yeah. So let's talk about X39. It's the star of the show. And where do I want to start with this one? Let me go there. So X39 is the star of the show, and it is so comprehensive. So who is this patch for and who isn't it for?
It's for almost everybody. There are very few people with contraindications. So unless you've had an organ transplant or are currently undergoing chemotherapy, then it's a great choice for you. So those are the two people, the two groups of people where it's not recommended. And then for pregnant women, you make, excuse me, make your own decision, because it's not tested on pregnant women, as nothing, hardly anything is. So if I were pregnant, yeah, I would wear it, but every woman can make her own choice there.
Yeah, there you go. So it's safe and it's natural, and it's what we call non-transdermal. What does that mean for people? Non-transdermal.
Non-transdermal means there's no medicine in it that is going to be absorbed into your skin. There's no medicine in it, period. So it just contains reflective crystals, which reflect back a specific light frequency to stimulate your skin that has a desired effect.
Beautiful. Let's both get some water here. And we, so that'll lead me into the next question. What are the ideal conditions to get the maximum benefit of utilizing this technology?
Right. So to get the maximum benefit, to help these patches do everything that they're capable of doing in your body, you need to have a well-hydrated body, and you need to have enough copper in your body so that it can make more copper peptide, because that's really what this patch does. The stem cell benefit is a secondary effect. So it stimulates our bodies to make more GHK copper peptide, and then we get all of the benefits that offers, which are many. One of which is when it increases, it stimulates our bodies to make more stem cells. So you need copper to make that peptide first, or you don't get that chain reaction.
So that means we're all going to be eating liver and oysters and chocolate, right?
Right. Raw cacao, yes.
Yes, raw cacao, not
Yes.
that dairy sugared stuff. But
No, and not processed cocoa powder either.
yeah, okay. But there are a lot of foods, and you can go online and look at foods that are rich in copper.
Yeah,
Brazil,
asparagus are good. Some mushrooms are good.
Great.
There's a lot of options in there.
yes, and you can take a copper supplement also. So how long can people expect to notice something?
Well, the real answer is anywhere from 1 day to several months. It's a huge range. I've had people notice a difference on day 1, after a week, after 2 weeks, after a month, after 3 months, after 4 months. So really the key to getting results is giving it time, because our bodies don't, unless you have a sudden trauma, a car accident or something, these things don't develop overnight, and they don't go away overnight. There's a process, and healing takes time. Our stem cells don't just, explode into a billion stem cells and go replace everything all in the same day, right? It's a process. So old cells need to be replaced, and having more stem cells allows our bodies to do that faster than they would otherwise, but it's still a process over time. So give it months,
Give it 90 days, you say? Is that
yeah,
good amount
3
of
4
time?
months. Yes.
3 or 4 months. Yeah. And that's really important. We like to be conservative on expectations. Like Dr. Barbara says, some people can have a result really quickly, but not everybody. So stay with it and be consistent. Drink your water, have your copper, and the rest will unfold, because they're always working, whether you realize it or not, aren't they?
That's right. Yes.
Are there any?
All of us respond to light.
Yeah.
And so they're going to, if you're hydrated and you have enough copper in your body to make this peptide, they will work. You just may not notice it for a period of time.
Good. That's really good to know. So are there any contraindications, anything that might seem negative when using this technology?
Well, we already talked about the contraindications, right? Chemotherapy and organ transplant.
Okay.
But one thing that people may initially interpret as negative, which actually is not, is that in a small percentage of people, it could actually kind of exacerbate a symptom, or even bring back an old symptom. And it doesn't mean it's making it worse. It actually means the right things are happening. So when stem cells come and your body's ready to replace a damaged or old cell, that cell has to be removed, and it's sloughed off into that space. And maybe if it's in a joint space, then that joint can seem inflamed, right? And it is. Inflammation is the process of immune system activity. And so when those old cells are being removed and being eaten up and moved out, that area might experience worsened symptoms.
And so when people call and say, I feel worse, we say, oh, good.
Yeah.
It's working.
So a couple things about that. If that happens, you can do two things. One is take the patch off, right? You don't have to wear it the full 12 hours. All the patches don't have to be worn a full 12 hours. You might want to start with a short period of time, just a few hours. Another option is to put the patch on and take it off for 10 minutes and put it back on, put it on and off a few times. And that change can also help, and it might get you through an increase of pain faster.
Oh, interesting. So it's different than when you're ingesting something and it doesn't feel good. You can't really take it out, but you can take the patch off. And
right.
And that actually did happen to me, an old injury that was not completely healed. I called Dr. Nicholas. I said, what is going on? He goes, oh, good. And I went, great. It doesn't feel good. And I took it off and I was fine. And then I worked up, like you say, to the 12 hours. So it's really good because that old injury wasn't completely healed. And then those new stem cells regenerated wonderful new cells. And now it's completely better. All good.
Yeah, so suddenly your body was able to do a lot of remodeling that it didn't have the wherewithal to do before.
Yeah. And we do recommend that when you're getting started, take a picture of your face in good lighting. Because when you get younger, your body's going to produce more collagen. So those fine lines and wrinkles, I'm not so afraid of my magnifying mirror in my bathroom anymore. They change. And also if you have scars, take a picture of your scars. And Dr. Barbara talked about remodeling. Your scars will get lighter and thinner. Very exciting. I have several very long scars that are very light.
I have a big scar here that is about maybe, it's getting smaller and smaller. I got that when I was 1 year old.
Can't see a thing.
It changes. It's getting smaller and smaller. It's about a third or a quarter of what it was a few years ago.
How exciting. It's really, really wonderful. And then fun, it just gets better over time. It's cumulative. So should we entertain some stories and questions from our audience?
Sure.
Okay. So Glenn Olson is asking, Dr. Barbara, what patches would you recommend for a head that has a lot of pain, a real lot of pain, severe pain?
In the head, I would try Lifewave patches. I've had a lot of success using Lifewave patches. And Michelle and I did a video on that, so you can find it on my YouTube channel if you're, or the Facebook groups, but Dr. Barbara Jennings YouTube channel. As far as teaching you some good ideas for placement strategies, but for headaches or pain, different pains in the head, you put the brown one wherever it hurts the most and move the white one around, maybe here, maybe here, maybe on the neck or down the spine. And usually, sometimes temple to temple, one of those places usually really helps.
It's quite amazing, quite amazing. Okay, thank you. Carol wants to know, is there anything that the patches can do for a form of stiffness and inflammation in the joints of an elderly lady? It's a condition it's a condition I don't want to name.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So in general, here's a really great protocol for joint pain, pain or inflammation or injury to any joint in the body. And that's three things. You want to use your X39, and you may put it on or near that joint or in one of the two default points. and then two other patches, glutathione and Eon. And those are two patches that will decrease inflammation, and they do so through two different ways, right? Glutathione as an antioxidant is going to work via antioxidant pathways. The Eon patch helps modulate or balance the immune system and therefore the inflammation activity. And so if you put those two patches on opposite side, depending on which joint it is, that combination has been, sometimes spectacular.
How exciting. And the beauty is you can't hurt anything. You can't do it wrong. Experiment, trust your instincts. But the guidance from Dr. Barbara is very helpful. Thank you for that. So Mary Page wants to know what could be suggested for a man who had a kidney transplant that came up with a bad virus affecting his eyes.
Okay, so with the transplant, we're not going to use the X39. So we're going to look at the other patches and those that would help the immune system and possibly his eyes. So to support that, I would again go to the glutathione patch. You could wear them here on near the eyes or inside of a sleep mask or eyeglasses. I would also use the Eon patch. The Eon patch really offers a lot of support and modulation for the immune system.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Now this next one, I don't know if this is so appropriate for you, but I'll read it anyway from Kathleen. Are there presentations or testimonies on the condition that babies are born when their mother had continued abuse of alcohol during pregnancy? What would be the protocol for that for the children as they grow older?
I'm not aware of any protocols, but what I would do, I would do the head protocol for that child's brain and nervous system. So here we go again, the glutathione and Eon stacked on top of the head, and energy enhancer patches front to back and side to side.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I would do that. I would definitely probably use a lot of glutathione. I might use two. Maybe not on an infant, but anywhere on the spine. And I would also use carnosine, the carnosine patch. I would definitely, I use muscle testing. So I would muscle test to see if that baby's body is ready and if it could handle these. But these are the things that I would check for, right? The head protocol, X39 and 49, because X49 helps stimulate our bodies to make more carnosine as well. And that might be too much for a baby. So the carnosine patch, I would try that. Carnosine patch on the forehead, probably. Very helpful for the brain.
Thank you. Thank you. This is very helpful. I love learning from you. So let's see. And the HAT protocol can be found in liveyoungerproducts.com. There's some protocols in there, and it can show the placement that Dr. Barbara talked about. So Shannon wants to know, what Lifewave patches would you recommend for a high school football player? It's that time, isn't it?
Probably several. I've had high school football players. We have 5 boys. So we've had wrestlers, football players, cross-country runners, you name it, we've had it. So X39, and if there's an injury, you definitely want to be using X39 and 49, that 49 in addition to, used together with 39 is going to improve recovery time, improve strength of muscles, stamina, during practice in the games. So definitely those. I would also definitely use glutathione. Glutathione is underappreciated in athletes because when you exercise, your muscles, the waste products of metabolic activity creates a huge amount of free radicals, lots of free radicals. So when you hear these stories of amazing athletes that have heart attacks or have a stroke, they have so much internal inflammation, possibly. But it is very possible that their antioxidant capabilities are reach a point where they don't keep up with the demand of all of the free radicals produced by exercise. So I would use, and this is for all athletes, I recommend use the glutathione patch on a regular basis. And then of course you want to have Icewave. You want to have Icewave on hand for when they're hurting.
Yes, absolutely. And our founder just recently did a wonderful program on glutathione. I learned a lot of new things. I mean, it was fascinating. So we have a YouTube channel with Lifewave called Lifewave Health, and that YouTube will be up in about a few days. But it was on glutathione. There's several others on glutathione, but there's always ones on X39 and all the other patches. So you can enjoy learning from the founder himself. Okay, Linda wants to know, can you put patches on babies?
You can. If I think the safest thing, I think, is to use some muscle testing and make sure that baby's body can handle it. Another thing to really keep in mind is probably less time. A baby's body is not very big, and metabolically is much faster than yours. And so I probably wouldn't use many patches for 12 hours. If you're going to put another one on them, it depends on the age and the condition and the health and the need of that baby, but maybe 1 hour, maybe 3 hours. Not sure.
So less time and monitor. Yeah, David typically says wait till they can verbally communicate, but if you want to put it on a baby, make sure you monitor the baby, and they'll do it. They won't hurt them for sure. They could only help. So
right.
Okay,
yeah, especially glutathione. Take it slow. Slow meaning a short time.
Shorter time. Yeah, that's great. And you might want to take half the adhesive backing off and just make it easy to put it on and off, or you could use a Band-Aid or medical tape. There's lots of ways to keep it on.
Or you could stick it on their blanket, or if they're laying on a blanket, you could stick it on a piece of clothing and just have them wear that thing, that clothing item for 1 hour, then switch it.
And that what Dr. Barbara just said is really, really amazing, that it doesn't need to be touching the body. It could be on your clothing. And so we put them on our dogs, on their collars and on their, bandanas and our cat's collar. So it doesn't need to be on the body to work. Okay.
Yeah. And both sides of the patch work. So the adhesive side doesn't have to be facing your skin. And that's good to know with the head protocol as well. You can stack those patches, or you can stick them on a hat and wear the hat. It doesn't have to be stuck on your head.
Okay, that's really good to know. All right.
So I will, I think with kids especially, or anytime you want to wear one patch for just a couple of hours, because you're going to run out of adhesive stickiness after 2 uses, right? Because you can use one half and then the other half. Well, if it needs to go longer than that, put it on the inside of a shirt collar and just wear that shirt for a period of time and then take it off.
Great to know. Great to know. Thank you. That's great. Okay, Gail, recommended patches for those who experience severe nerve pain in feet due to lack of blood flow. Possibly ice wave on kidney 1?
Ice wave, yes. Also energy enhancer or both. They're similar. So I like the idea of both of those on the feet. You also may, I would try both two ways. One is ice wave and or energy enhancer, one on the left foot, one on the right foot. And if that doesn't help enough, then use one set per foot or per leg. All right, so you would put probably the brown on kidney 1 on the bottom of the left foot and put the white one up on somewhere on the leg, right? On the calf muscle, maybe above the knee, maybe on the shin, maybe on the lower thigh. So you're using one set per foot. Sometimes that works better.
And can you tell people why that is so effective? Because that's a powerful recommendation.
Why what is so effective?
Putting, the ice wave on the bottom of the foot and up the leg, it opens up the energy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's energy flow that's suffering there, and you want increased circulation. Great. And would you do the same thing with an energy enhancer?
Yeah. Yes. So I think probably the energy enhancer is less likely to be needed on 2 sets.
Okay.
But I would try both ways and see what feels best for that person, because they may need more. It's okay to use multiple sets or pairs.
Yeah. And we have a very official term called the wallpaper method. When you have a lot of patches on. Okay, Christina is saying, I have a family member that has constant ringing in one of his ears. It causes him to not be able to hear, and it's annoying. Would X39 help?
Probably. Well, I want to say yes, because X39 is always going to help. Will it help that specific thing go away? I don't know. It will help a lot of things. It may or may not help that specific thing. Another thing that I would do for that, again, Eon and glutathione, you notice a theme here. You always want to have those. Just put them on a monthly delivery. But I would use them right in front of the ear and then right behind on the mastoid bone.
In the front of the ear and then behind. Oh,
Yep.
Interesting. So it would be Eon and glutathione?
Yep. And it, maybe it doesn't really matter which is which. I would probably alternate.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter if it's daytime or nighttime. But addressing the inflammation there is something that you can do with the patches. There are other treatments for that. Sound therapy, not related to patches, but sound therapy can be effective for that as well. And I would also get screened for otosclerosis and see if you have that condition, because that's different and can cause those symptoms.
Yeah, there's different things that cause those particular symptoms.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But what you can do, X39 would help.
Great.
And decreasing inflammation in general can help.
And so there, like Dr. Barbara said, there's a theme here. Always X39, Eon and glutathione. And if there's pain, you add ice wave. And it doesn't matter what the condition is, those are the foundational patches and you want to increase the energy flow, energy enhancer. It's amazing. Okay, Jeff is asking, how do the patches work for that virus that's going around that we're not going to name?
How do they work?
Yeah. Does it work for that virus that's going around?
Well, they're going to support your body. They can help your body heal and repair faster. They can help you decrease inflammation. You can wear X39 and or Eon patches here on the lung points, the same points where you would put the energy enhancer patches, and the booklet has the picture. You can also, I happen to be wearing glutathione today because I was sick and I have a little residual tickly throat. So your thymus gland, you know, where a lot of important immune system development and activity happens, is right under your sternum. So that's a good place to address. Lungs, you could wear them up here on the throat.
Beautiful.
Yeah, go crazy.
Yeah.
Use them.
Yes, everybody wants a strong immune system, and X39 and glutathione do a wonderful job on that. Okay, do you have time for a few more? We have just a few more. Okay, Victoria wants to know, is it okay for someone after completing chemotherapy and currently undergoing monoclonal antibody therapy? Can they use the patches? If
I
they're
believe so.
chemo.
I believe so. I would ask the oncologist if there's any reason they should not do something to support stem cells.
Okay.
That's a good verbiage to use.
Great.
Ask the doctor, is there any reason I should not do something to support my stem cells right now? And go with what he says, or she.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, Peggy, do you have a recommendation for what type of copper to use? Internal, does wearing copper help? What have you found works best?
I don't think wearing copper helps. You definitely want to consume it. You want it in your diet. First choice is always a good food source. So, I have a page of 2 columns of copper, the highest foods containing copper. And you can Google those and make your own pretty easily. So that's first choice. If a person doesn't like any of those foods and you can't include those in your menu, in your diet on a fairly daily basis, then yes, you can look at supplementing. And you definitely want to be careful in choosing a copper supplement because you want it to be bound to an organic molecule. That is the safe way to take a copper supplement, right? If you take copper as an element, it can cross the blood-brain barrier, get trapped behind the blood-brain barrier in your brain and cause inflammation and lead to neurodegenerative problems that we don't want. No. So copper bisglycinate, some kind of copper chelate, that is how you know it's bound and in a safe form.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Rainey says she knows a gentleman with difficulty lifting the front part of the foot so it drags. It could be an underlying neurological, muscular, or anatomical problem, or could it be nerve compression or a pinched nerve? Does X39 help with pinched nerves? Not really. You need to see a chiropractor for that. Yes. I've helped a lot of people with that. They need a good lumbar and sacrum SI adjustment. Good to know. Good to know. I would still use X39. Yes. Because I think it will help recovery and repair and help structurally hold, as help build the integrity of the body to hold the adjustment and hold your body in the right position. Okay, good. All right. We have an anonymous attendee that said, I'd like to know, are there patches recommended for kids? I have a 5-year-old who gets abdominal pain. Would I be able to use the patches on her, and what patches and where would they be placed? So I use the patches on my children.
So abdominal pain in a 5-year-old, I'd really recommend you do a deep dive into diet, because that's probably diet related. Maybe some kind of infection related, maybe a parasite. But as far as helping with the tummy, I would definitely try them. You could try X39, you could try Icewave, you could try Eon and Glutathione.
There we go. There we
Mhm.
go. All right, thank you. What patch for someone who's had pneumonia for a year?
Okay. Well, I'll give you one guess. I would double up, and so on top of each other, glutathione and Eon on both lungs. So one set. You can stack them on top of each other, and I would wear them on the lung point. I would start with that. I would also alternate that with the energy enhancer patches on the lung points. So 12 hours of one, obviously you're going to want to wear the energy enhancer during the day. So wear the others at night, and definitely wear your X39. That's what I would do.
That's beautiful. That will strengthen the lungs. Lung 1 point is right here. It'll give extra boost to the lungs.
Yeah, and you can do more here. I mean, this is, your bronchial tubes here. There are other good points right here on either side, just below the first rib and second rib. Those are also good points to place patches, just on, not on the sternum, just on the sides of the sternum.
So if it's bronchial pneumonia, would you put them here? And then if it's in the lungs, put them here, or does that matter?
If it's me, I would do both.
Well, he's at it for a year. He needs help. Okay.
Yeah.
Finally,
Yeah. Or put glutathione here and Eon here, and tomorrow flip them. Do it opposite.
Oh, that's a great idea. Okay. Last question from Christina. Does X39 help with a herniated disc in the neck?
Yes, but there's some buts with that. So what X39 cannot do is suck the disc back in to where it's supposed to be. It cannot provide traction to help that happen. It can't move a bone that might be pinching a nerve, right? It can't do structural things. It can help decrease inflammation, and therefore, sometimes, not always, can help with pain, and provide stem cells so the body can hopefully repair the tear, right? Because there's a tear there if that's happened. It's going to take some time. That's not going to be a fast thing.
Beautiful.
But help, yes. Solve, don't know.
Okay. And seeing a chiropractor might help too, huh?
Yeah. See a chiropractor, get an x-ray, see if an adjustment there is a good idea or a bad idea.
Okay, great. Well, Dr. Barbara, as always, this was wonderful. We always get to learn from you. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And for those of you that are guests just looking at Lifewave for the first time, we invite you to get started. The products do come with a guarantee. We have a wonderful customer program. And if you're the kind of person that likes to share, there's a wonderful compensation to becoming a brand partner with us and sharing and getting compensated. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening, and until next week, goodbye.
Bye-bye. Good night.